Welcome to Hotline 21. I'm your host, Bruce Jackson, and today we are going to be talking about health and how it impacts our community. On the show today with the Gift House, we have a great guest, and these guests are going back as far back as 50 years. It's an organization that you may have heard of, I'm sure, back in the news, called the Black Panther Party. And we have one of the originals, actually two of the originals, and I want to just thank you for coming out, Billy Brooks.
Thank you, my brother.
And this gentleman here is one of the generals. What's your name?
Stan McKinny.
Stan McKinley.
Yes.
Stan McKinley of the Black Panther Party, and we're gonna talk about what has been happening in the community that has, because you already had a 10-point program.
Yes.
And I have that program here with me, and I just want to go over some of the things because it's still in existence today. In terms of employment for people, the fact that our community has been brutalized by police violence, the fact that we need housing, land, education. Those things are 50 years later are still in existence today, and I want to tear into it. Hopefully they'll give us more airtime because one segment is not enough. But we want to tear into it to say, you all was the first Homeland Security that we had. Not the Homeland Security we had now. You all was the first Homeland Security. You were dealing with domestic terrorism a long time, before we decided to jump on board with that. Tell us, looking back, because all answers are in the past. Looking back, what would you do now to try to make that which we touch better than when we found it? What would you do?
Well, one of the things that we're currently doing is processing the 50th commemoration of the founding of the Illinois chapter of the Black Panther Party. As you said earlier, when you looked at the platform and the program, almost two salient programs were the breakfast program and our free medical center. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that we're going to be doing this Saturday at Stone Temple Missionary Baptist Church at 3622 South Douglas Boulevard.
West.
Yes, mm-hmm. West Boulevard is to have a food giveaway, and we're also going to be testing for sickle cell and HIV, blood pressure, diabetes. Those were our core programs. You mentioned earlier about some of the things that are similar now that there were then. Mm-hmm. When you look at the medical situation,
I'm going to go ahead and put this up, but you keep talking. I'm going to let them know what they're looking at. What you're looking at is the event that Senior Panther Billy Brooks have just talked about. There is where it's going to be. It's a free event. There's going to be a food giveaway, as well as free medical testing, HIV, STD, diabetes, hypertension. All there. This is the original footing of the Panthers. This is how they started. It's right here. If you want to come to this event, this is where you need to be at Saturday, November 3rd at 9. It's from 9 to 4. This is what he was talking about. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I'm going to leave that there so if those who want to just copy it, they can go ahead and copy. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that point number 10 of our platform and program was the most salient. It really incorporated the whole philosophical understanding when we say we want land, bread, housing, education, clothing, justice, and peace. And it's a major political objective of the United Nations supervised plebiscite to be held throughout the oppressed community, in which only oppressed colonial subjects will be allowed to participate for the purposes of determining the will of poor people as to their national destiny. What's going on in this country now is analogous to what was going on in this country in 1968, from the White House on down to the State House, in terms of oppression. One of the core fundamental rights that poor people in this country are facing right now is medical care. And we know that if we were able to process a medical clinic 50 years ago, then we should be able to do it now. That's our intent, to incorporate what we call our survival programs.
Absolutely. And those survival programs evolved out of our interaction and keeping our ears to the beat of the people to determine what programs are feasible. Beyond the Breakfast for Children program, as Minister Brooks said, we also had the medical center, but then beyond that, we seen a need for a busing to prison program, because we found out that the prison officials were trying to do a lot of their treachery in the dark. So what we did is we got a Greyhound bus that was bought by a good friend of the party's, and we put a panther on the side of it. And every Sunday, we would take loved ones, family members, to a penal institution in the state of Illinois, so that way we could expose that treachery. They couldn't do it in the dark.
Right.
And that program became a very paramount program in terms of linking loved ones with their loved ones, especially downstate and Vandalia, Menard, et cetera, et cetera. And that program was dittoed throughout the Black Panther Party through our many chapters and branches across the United States. So that became another cellular program, and it's still a program that's needed today. Because I think in the black community, with the prison system, the pipeline to prison, a lot of black folks are dealing with loved ones that are incarcerated.
Absolutely.
And a lot of it is unjustly. So that program is another program that's still a valid program and needed in today's society. We did shoe giveaways, we did clothing giveaways, we escorted the seniors, and all this is still survival programs. We escorted the seniors every month to cash their checks so no one would loot off of them.
Right.
Need that now.
Need that now. In addition to, we had plumbing services. There was in Winston-Salem, there was a community where ambulance service wouldn't come into the black community. We got an ambulance, and we would transport black folks to medical facilities because ambulances wouldn't even come in certain neighborhoods. I mean, many of the survival programs are still relevant, and some of those programs were later to get kicked off in the late 70s that didn't get the total popularity, but they're very, very relevant and significant programs.
See, the concept was survival programs pending the revolution, and that was the key. And these programs are very much needed now. One of the things that we want to emphasize to young people in terms of them wanting to struggle is for them to learn that you can't struggle against an unjust criminal system unless you have the support of the people, and we garnered the support of the people through our survival program.
If you're just joining us, we are talking to the original Black Panthers, and we're having an event, a free health fair event on Saturday. That's this Saturday, and the address is right there on the screen. It will be at the Stone Temple Baptist Church. It is a historical church, one of the old Jewish synagogues. 3622 West Douglas Boulevard from 9 to 4 p.m. You need to be there. There's gonna be full of activities, tons of nonprofit providing services. The Panthers will be there. They'll be doing the original, one of the original part of the 10-point program, giving away food, providing health care and services. These services are free. And once again, we are back with the Panthers.
Also, this is the same church in 1971 that we gave away 3,000 bags of groceries. So it was paramount for us to revisit the past, to educate people, and that the Lawndale community is a community that basically it was part of the flagship of the many programs, the breakfast program and the medical center from the party, as well as we actually lived in that community. Many Panther members lived in that community. And so,
I remember at the church, there was the pastor, he has a picture of King
yes.
there,
Yes.
speaking right there in there in
That
the
was his
pulpit.
church. That was his church that he attended when he lived in Lawndale. Sure.
Okay,
Yes.
great. So this is full circle.
Oh yeah, it's a historic. They actually have a historical landmark status now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, you know, something about one thing I admired about the Panthers, particularly in the 60s, how the street violence was completely curtailed. You really didn't hear too much about street violence. If anything, you heard about violence happening to people of color, but it wasn't so much street violence with youth. Today, what are the main manifestations of youth violence? How would that be addressed?
It's all part and parcel of our economic system, a housing system, an educational system, the process of the prison, pipeline. It's economic. One of the things that we were able to do back in the day was to organize within the infrastructure of our community, and a lot of our party members were part of what we used to call the lumpen proletariat, in that they were people who didn't necessarily work. They weren't part of the working class as such, but they saw a need to work with the party, to work with the programs that we have. A lot of programs that we had were actually ran by the people in the community. We opened up our first breakfast program in April 1969 at the Better Boys Foundation. It was our specific responsibility to make sure that we got the food and stuff there, but it was the people that carried it on. And that's what we're trying to implement today. You hear a lot of conversation about dropping the ball. Well, our struggle is a protracted struggle. It's a struggle based on our survival. It's a struggle that's been going on since 1619. So we had a slogan then, educate to liberate. We talked about the youth, making a revolution. At that time, we were youth. We've gotten a little older now.
Yes.
But we also understand the need to reach out, to young people, and we both in our own specific capacities work with young people on a daily and weekly basis. And you, one of the young people I used to work with, right?
Yes, that's true. That is true.
Young no more.
I guess that make me a cub.
There you go. There you go. That's chairman.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me ask you this. You talk about the programs, the community programs that you created. Who was the brainchild of how did those programs come into existence?
All those programs emanated from this platforming program. Okay.
And that's the 10 point. That's the 10 point.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
They all came from a desire to implement, point number 7, for instance, we want to immediate end to police brutality and murder of black people. Our concept at that particular time was that decentralization of the police was a critical piece, in that if you worked in a community and you lived in that community, then your propensity for violence, would decrease or be non-existent because you gotta, I almost said something I shouldn't say. You gotta come home.
Right.
So every program that we implemented came out of the genius mind of Huey P. Newton.
Right on.
Okay, and to this day, those programs are vibrant. Those programs are functional, and we're just trying to, as part of this process, commemorate that, and let some of the young folks know who run around the city talking about we dropped the ball. Tell them to pick the ball up.
Pick the ball up. Pick the ball. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
When you spoke of the existing violence in the community, I think one of the things that young folks have to be educated and made aware of is that when J. Edgar Hoover made the statement, "We must stop the rise of the Black Messiah," a lot of what we're living through today is by design. It was by design to drop cocaine bombs throughout the Black community. This would create this type of chaos. It was designed to dismantle the structure of the street tribes. So nowadays you have young brothers you go into a community and you ask them, okay, who's on point? And they've basically mobbed up themselves versus a structured organization. So I think when we talk about the effects of violence in this community, it's by design. And one of the things that the COINTELPRO documents.
Okay, one second. I want to hear about COINTELPRO. I want to hear about that. We got a caller. Caller, state your name or comment.
Yes, we're on Shalom. This is Minister Plump, Robert Floyd Plump. How you doing today, Bruce? Jack?
Hey, how you doing, Minister Plump?
All right, yeah. Well, I heard you all was on the air. So, Brother George Owens of Grover City Unity was sharing that with me, so I thought I'd give you all a call. I'm in the studio, too, and I'm concerned about what you all was discussing in terms of helping to stop the violence, robbery, stealing, and killing in the Black community. And I seem as though you all are located on the west side, pretty much.
Yes, we have an affair on the west side. I'm gonna put it on the air if you can. You're looking at it. We having an affair. We having a health fair this Saturday, 3622 West Douglas Boulevard at Stone Temple, commemorating the 50-year anniversary of the Black Panther Party.
Hallelujah! Yes, well, that sounds fantastic. It would be an honor and a privilege and a blessing to be present, and I would like to share with you all the people's music, because that is the community music, which is called 277 Political Soundtrack.
Well, come on, come on out, 'cause we got another caller. Come on out. I can't wait to see you. You are more than welcome. You are more than welcome. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, and God bless you. Keep up the good work.
All right.
And, other brothers from
Power to all the people.
All
I like that, power to all the people. Okay, I understand we have another caller.
Yes, I know you don't have that much time left, but do any two of y'all remember Marion Stamps, and what happened to her daughter and her secretary? Let me get out there so I can hear your response. Thanks for taking the call.
Y'all want to take that?
Stan, you more abreast at that north side game.
Yes, I remember Marion. I work with Marion. She has a daughter that is a school teacher. She's active. She ran for alderman of the ward that I actually live in. She ran against Emmett Mitt the last term and lost by a few hundred votes. But that's what one of her daughters. I don't know. I'm out of the loop with the rest of the children.
Guana is driving trucks and doing fine. That's my homie.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay, so
I'm
he's
gonna put that in, up there. I'm gonna put that up on the air.
So you want chairman?
We have the chairman here. He should be coming in.
Right.
Chairman Fred Hampton Jr. He should be coming
Of the
in
Black
here
Panther
shortly
Party
of the
Cubs.
Black Panther Party.
Cubs.
He's one of the Cubs.
2 minutes.
And if you're just joining in, you want to come to the event. It's 3622 West Douglas Boulevard.
He said.
And it's a free health fair. We're going to be giving away food. There's tons of services there, and if you want to learn more about the party, this is the place to be. If you got any questions right now, this is the time to call in. You can call the number at the bottom of the string. We're talking with the Panthers. We're talking with the Panthers. I got to ask this other question too. In terms of researching and developing problems that youth are, because the youth today are having a big problem with law enforcement. How would you address that now?
It's a two-pronged approach. I'm going to give you mine, and Comrade Stan will give you his.
You know what? I'm gonna let you guys wrap it up.
Okay. One of the major problems that our young people have is the ability to critically think, using their social skills to deal with complex situations, and particularly the police. But those problems are brought on as society problems, and a lot of it just has to do with poverty, housing, drugs, and the design that they implemented economically, mentally, and environmentally. Our youth are trapped in a vicious circle. Frantz Fanon talked about urban unrest and mental disorders, and that's what we process it.
Absolutely. And I just think that the young folks, they're much more courageous today, and I think that they have a vision that we can win this, and we will win it. So, hey, you dare to struggle, you dare to win, and I think I commend the young people for their struggle. I think once we get past a lot of these government-sanctioned organizations, and back in the day we used to call them media freaks and bootlickers and what have you. Young people are they're much more keener in terms of getting involved and being able to weed out a lot of the sideshow phonies. So I think it's only a matter of time. That was one of the things that Huey always said. There may not always be the Black Panther Party, but within the midst of the people, there'll be a need for a vanguard organization. And only people can determine that, and that organization will come from the grassroots, just as the Black Panther Party did.
Okay, we got a minute left. You want to take? We got a minute left. Take it.
Here we go. It would be nice if we were able to replicate what we created back in 1968, 69, with the organizational infrastructure of the Black Panther Party. Our attempt to do that is going to come to fruition, hopefully at one point between now and December the 4th, 2019, the day that these pigs assassinated our Deputy Chairman Fred Hampton. That's what we're about. We're about the party, we're about the people, and we're about revolutionary change.
Right on.
Right, you heard it. I'm going to put it up for I got a few seconds. I'm going to just put this up right away. Be there this Saturday, 3622 West Douglas, the Health Fair, Black Panther Party. Thank you.